Okay, so now we're going to be revisiting the balance sheet, which we talked about earlier on in this course, but rather than analyzing your own balance sheet, which you should have done already, we're now going to talk about analyzing the balance sheet of a company, which is one of the most important documents to look at. And we're going to be talking about the three financial or the three income documents that you should analyze when it comes to fundamental stock analysis. The first one being the company balance sheet. So earlier we talked about the importance of creating and analyzing your personal balance sheet, and now we will be analyzing the balance sheet of a company. And as we said before, just as a brief recap, the balance sheet is a comparison of assets to liabilities. So if you subtract their total liabilities from their total assets, that gives you an idea of the net worth, or in your case, if you do this yourself, this gives you an idea of your personal net worth. So first of all, we have assets. So we will be looking at the items typically found under the assets section of a company balance sheet. So you have current assets and then non-current assets, and we're going to give some examples of these. But current assets are cash and other assets that are expected to be converted to cash within 1 year, while non-current assets are long-term assets that a company expects to hold longer than 1 year. So the difference between those is very simple. Current assets, they're going to be converted into cash, or they're currently cash, and that's going to be converted into cash within 1 year. And any non-current assets, these are long-term investments or assets the company holds that are not going to be converted into cash within that year. Now, the difference, it really comes down to, again, think about asset liquidity. Non-current assets are not as liquid, and they're not readily convertible into cash. These are not things that you can just go out and sell in an easy way. They're not readily convertible into cash. So here are some common examples of the current assets and the non-current assets you would have listed on a company balance sheet. So on the left, under current assets, cash and foreign currency, any highly liquid investments, any accounts receivable, or inventory. These are all things that are currently in cash or expected to be converted into cash within the next 12 months. And then under non-current assets, this is the property, this is the plant, the equipment, this is the goodwill, the intangible assets like the brand, any illiquid investments. A good example of this would be any acquisitions and other intangible assets. So obviously, if a company has property or an operating plant or equipment, this is not something they're planning on liquidating into cash in the next 12 months. So it's considered to be a long-term asset, or in this terminology, a non-current asset. So it's just good to understand the difference between these things. So when you're looking at the balance sheet, you understand what a current asset is and what a non-current asset is. And now we're going to look at the liabilities that you're going to find on the company balance sheet. So just like assets, there are both current and non-current liabilities. So current liabilities, if you haven't guessed yet, these are debts that are due to creditors within the next year. And non-current liabilities are long-term financial debts that are not due to creditors within the next year. So we're going to look at examples of both of these now. So on the left, the current liabilities that are due in the next 12 months. This would be short-term debt. This would be accounts payable, taxes and interest payable, any declared dividends. So dividends before payment are considered to be current liabilities. And then maturing long-term debt. So if there's any long-term debt that is coming to maturity, it transitions from non-current liabilities over to current liabilities because it is due within the 12-month period going forward. And then the non-current liabilities, the debt that is due further out into the future, this would be your long-term debt, your bonds payable if the company has issued corporate bonds, any pension liabilities, and then any deferred revenues, taxes, or liabilities. So again, when you're looking at the company balance sheet and you see current versus non-current liabilities, these are items you would expect to see under each of those. So what are you looking at when you're studying the balance sheet of a company? What are the major things you should look at? And if you guys are trying to wonder what you should be writing down, these are very important things to write down because I think this should be on your list of things that you're going to look for when analyzing a company balance sheet. These are the things I consider myself, and we're going to go over an example of this shortly. Number one, are total assets growing each year? Because you're going to want to see assets growing. Number two, are total liabilities growing each year? And three is very important as well. Are liabilities growing faster than assets? Because that would mean they are taking on more debt than they are taking on cash or think that could be easily converted into cash. Number 4, is inventory growing or shrinking? You do not want to see a company sitting on too much inventory. Number 5, does the company have enough cash to cover current liabilities? So one of the most important things you want to consider is whether or not the company has the ability to pay off the debt or the liabilities they currently have. And you're going to want to ideally have them be able to cover their debt solely with their current assets, not just their non-current assets. Number 6, what type of assets does the company own? So are most of their assets current assets that are currently in cash or convertible to cash in the next 12 months? Or are most of their assets non-current assets that are not readily available in the form of cash? And number 7, is most of the debt short-term or long-term, or current liabilities versus non-current liabilities? These are the 7 questions I ask myself when looking at the assets and liabilities of the balance sheet of a company. And I highly encourage you guys to include some, if not all of these, in your analysis of a company balance sheet. So the next section of the balance sheet we will discuss is the stockholders' equity. Now, the stockholders' equity is the net worth, or what is left over when all liabilities are covered by the assets. So when you take the simple equation of assets minus liabilities equals net worth, well, net worth is also known as stockholders' equity. And a general rule of thumb is that stockholders' equity should always be growing. And if it is not, this may not be a financially healthy company to invest in. So look at the stockholders' equity over the last 5 to 10 years, and one thing that I always look for is consistent double-digit growth in stockholders' equity over a long period of time. Again, remember, it's very important to find consistency because you may see a company doing very well in the short term, but it's important for a long-term investment to see a good track record. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the balance sheet of Google, and I will say they have one of the best balance sheets going, so they were a perfect example for this here. And Google is one of my long-term investments, and once you guys take a look at the balance sheet here, I think you'll understand why I see they have a very good, very healthy balance sheet, and they're very well run financially. So this is what a balance sheet is actually going to look like. And I kind of simplified this just for the slide here to fit everything on here. But this is from Morningstar. This was a Morningstar view of the balance sheet. So if you go on Morningstar's website and look for their balance sheets, you'd be able to find the balance sheet of most of the larger companies. But as you can see on the left, where those arrows are, if you click on those arrows, it will provide you more of a breakdown. But for everything we're doing here, I pretty much just needed the overview of the current assets versus the non-current assets, the current liabilities versus the non-current liabilities, and then the stockholders' equity. So as you can see, one of the first things I look for is, are total assets growing? And total assets are growing consistently, and it was a 15.7% year-over-year return on average, and what I look for is a double-digit return, so that checks that off on my box. Then we look for total liabilities to see if they are growing, and they are growing at a much slower rate. So total liabilities are growing at 5.76% year over year on average versus the 15.7% growth for the total assets. And then we look at stockholders' equity. Again, we want to see this growing at a double-digit rate, and over the last 5 years we're looking at here, there has been an 18.8% year-over-year growth of the stockholders' equity on average, which is fantastic. And then another important thing to consider was whether or not their current assets, which as you remember is what is currently held in cash or converted to cash in the next 12 months, covers their current liabilities. So looking at fiscal year 2016, they had a 6.3 to 1 coverage ratio of current assets to current liabilities, which is a great coverage. So you always want to make sure their current assets cover their current liabilities, and the greater that number is above 1, the better. So 6.3 to 1, that is fantastic coverage of the liabilities. And then when we look at their assets, we see most of their assets are current assets, which is good. And most of their debts are current debts as well, so they're not holding a lot of long-term debt. So this is an example of a fantastic balance sheet. This is one of the main reasons why I'm heavily invested long-term in Google, is because they just have a fantastic balance sheet. So this is what you are looking for, and this is an example of what it would be like to go through and analyze the assets and liabilities of a company balance sheet. So now we're going to take a look at a balance sheet that is not so good. This is Rite Aid. So first of all, the major red flag, if you look at stockholders' equity, back in 2013 and 2014, Rite Aid had negative stockholders' equity, which is something you never want to see. That means that their liabilities exceeded their assets. So then let's take a look at the current fiscal year here and get an idea of whether or not their current assets are covering their current liabilities. And as we said, Google's was well above 6. And when we look at Rite Aid, their coverage ratio is a 1.68, which is not a very good coverage ratio. So essentially their current assets are just above their current liabilities, and you want to see a coverage ratio above that figure there. I tend to want to see at least above a 2 to 1 ratio of coverage of current assets to current liabilities. So 1.68, not very good coverage. But then things get even worse when we look at total assets and total liabilities, not just the current ones, and their total assets barely cover total liabilities. So in the current fiscal year, they have a 1.05 to 1 coverage on total liabilities. And then when you look at the assets, you see most of their assets are non-current assets. So most of the assets they hold are not assets they're looking to convert into cash anytime soon, or they're not readily convertible into cash. What we have determined looking at this balance sheet is that Rite Aid is drowning in debt. They have way too many current and non-current liabilities, and they don't have healthy coverage of those liabilities. So this is not something you'd want to see on the balance sheet of a long-term investment. Now I want to take what we just looked at and explain this more simply. So let's take a look at this and pretend that this was the balance sheet of your own house. So let's say, for example, Google is your balance sheet, and the balance sheet of Google is the balance sheet of your own household. You would have $12,918 sitting in cash. So your stocks would be your current assets. You have $92,490 in investments that are easily convertible into cash. And then we're going to consider your home equity is your non-current assets. These are your long-term assets. So you have $62,089 built up in home equity. And then your credit card debt or your current liabilities is at $16,756. So first thing we notice is your cash just about covers what you have on your credit cards, but if you consider what your short-term investments are, that would easily cover your credit card debt. And your long-term debt or your non-current liabilities is at $11,705. That would be like the mortgage on your home. So all in all, once you figure all of your liabilities and your assets, you are sitting with a net worth of $139,036. So if Google was your own personal balance sheet, it would be a pretty good balance sheet. Now we'll take a look at Rite Aid. So if Rite Aid was your own personal balance sheet, you would have $245 in cash, and then your home equity, what you have built up in your house, are your non-current assets at $6,528. Then we see that your credit card debt or your current liabilities is at $3,000. So your cash does not come anywhere near covering your current liabilities. So you would need to sell off some of your short-term investments in order to cover what your credit card debt is. And then when you look at your mortgage or your long-term debt obligations or your long-term or non-current liabilities, that's at just under $8,000. So if you combine your cash and your current assets, it will not cover your long-term debt obligations. So once you do all the numbers on this, if you were Rite Aid, you would have a net worth of $614. Look at the drastic difference between these two balance sheets. Look at the fact that Rite Aid has $245 in cash, and that's over a third of their net worth is what they're holding in cash. That is not good when they have such a small amount of cash. Versus Google, where their net worth is more than 10 times what they're holding in cash. So this is a good way to see what a good balance sheet looks like and then a lousy balance sheet. And Rite Aid has a very lousy balance sheet because they don't have a lot of current assets and they just have way too much debt. They are drowning in debt. So this is what you want to look for in a balance sheet. You want to look for a balance sheet closer to Google than you would be looking for a balance sheet closer to what Rite Aid has here.